and welcome to another segment on Heartbeat Music Lullabies. And I'm here this morning with Mr. Terry Woodford, who is a music therapy expert. And Terry has had a very successful career in the music entertainment industry, and he has been a very successful record producer and songwriter. And in fact, we are sitting now in front of many of the gold and platinum albums that he has earned in the past. Very impressive. But Terry, you made a change in your career at one point. You left the entertainment world and you got involved, from what you've shared, in starting to produce lullabies for babies. And you had some very unique experiences. And I believe that as you've shared this, you have said that this opened up a whole new world for you. And you began to realize that there were a lot of parents out there that were struggling with babies that couldn't fall asleep, and then the problems that they experienced as a result of that, and the exhaustion and the frustration and all of that. And so why don't you just share with us a little bit about what happened and how that transition took place and where it led you?
Well, what started out as a project for a daycare provider to calm kids in daycare has worked its way into the cardiac recovery unit at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. And I saw babies calmed to the music that were struggling for their life and trying to get healed, and rest and sleep is what you need to heal and grow. And nurses encouraged me, have always been the champions of this music, have been the nurses, the really compassionate, caring people who keep these babies alive. And they encouraged me to make more songs from the original 5 that I had, and to come up with special speaker systems to play for these babies. And so I saw and learned how important it was to keep these babies calm, and I realized that that this is how I could really contribute and really make a difference with music. And so I decided to get out of the music industry and study and learn as much as I can about why these were working and how to record more that might be very effective in working. And got out of the music industry and started going into neonatal intensive care units, which was another application that I was told that could be very helpful, and went to Eggleston Hospital in Atlanta and AMI Brookwood Hospital in Birmingham, Alabama, and started measuring sound levels under oxy hoods and observing the babies and how important it was for those babies because they haven't finished healing and growing. They came out too early.
Sure.
And so how important it was to keep them calm and let them get sleep, because sleep and rest is when you're healing and growing. And so I got real into it and started studying as much as I could as to why this music was really working. But then I realized also, I started realizing, I got to make some money, because I'm giving them free to hospitals all over the country, and the word got out they could get them free. And I probably over the years have given away 150 to 200,000 copies to hospitals where they could use them in all kinds of situations where kids are going through painful or frightening procedures or on life support. And so I also didn't realize that it was such a problem for new moms. And I started studying that. I said, why? And I also found out an interesting thing, that Dr. Salk's brother, and Dr. Salk, of course, is the one that came up with the polio vaccine.
Okay.
His brother had experimented by recording a human heart to newborns and found out that just the human heart being played for newborns, the ones that had the same amount of breast milk or formula seemed to gain more weight if they listened to this heartbeat, because they were crying less and they were
comforted.
And he never got much credit because, come on, Dr. Spock, his brother, was the one that was getting a lot of attention to come up with the polio vaccine. And so then I realized that there was a guy named Dr. Spock. And everybody had heard of Dr. Spock. In fact, his book is second only in sales to the Bible. That's pretty big.
Wow.
And what Dr. Spock did, it was right after World War II, about 1947, and you had all these guys coming back and they're having babies, the post-war babies that are right now going on Medicare. And what happened was the women had gone into the workforce, and they liked it, and they liked their jobs, and the employers liked them, because a lot of times, even in non-traditional, what you wouldn't think a woman could do, they could outperform men. And so they wanted to stay in the workforce, and they needed that extra money. They wanted to buy a car when they were available, and they wanted to get a little home. And here was the GI Bill so they could go to college. But the problem was the mamas were the ones getting up with the babies in the middle of the night, and they were getting sleep deprived. And so Spock came along with this idea that just let them cry.
I remember that.
And don't spoil your baby, just let them cry. Eventually, they'll wind down and they'll go to sleep. What he was really saying is they have to learn to adopt their own bed as the place to go to sleep and go back to sleep on their own.
Oh, okay.
His solution was, however, don't pick them up, don't rock them, just let them cry. Eventually, they'll get it. And the only problem with that was, in my opinion, was that the crying is the primary way they have to communicate a want or a need. And you're not being very consistent if you meet their needs in the daytime with the crying, and then all of a sudden at night they're put into this bed, and they don't know why.
Yeah.
The other thing I realized was that I started having mothers call, and they said, well, you know, I play the music, the baby goes to sleep, but they're still waking up in the middle of the night. And so what dawned on me was that what you have to do is a nurturing bedtime routine along with the music, and you can let it play all night long, to where these babies adopted their bed in a very nurturing and friendly way, and that it was a good place to be. And the problem was the mamas were rocking their babies completely to sleep to the music in their arms and then putting them into bed when they were already asleep. It was something as simple as that because it seemed so natural.
Sure.
You know, they're just little angels when they're asleep.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
And so it dawned on me, but if you rock them to sleep in your arms, you become the place that they think they sleep, and you become the favorite
That's
place to go to sleep.
familiar and comfortable.
So when they wake up in their own bed in the middle of the night, it's how did I get here? Come back into your rock me, bottle feed me, and play the music.
Yeah.
So the idea is that I realized I need to let parents know, get the baby in the bed awake, but don't let them cry for more than a minute or so. The longer you let them cry, what's going to happen?
They're going to get more upset.
They're going to get more upset and more upset and more upset, and they haven't learned how to self-calm yet. And so you're not telling them this is a friendly place, this is a comfortable place. You know, you're telling them this is the bars and the prison kind
You're
of thing.
creating more anxiety
Sure.
for them.
So I realized that along with playing that music that helps make that transition from the rocking chair to the crib is that nurturing bedtime routine to help them wind down. And so when they wake up, it's not a strange place. You have a little light on so they can see, oh yeah, this is where I sleep.
Yeah.
And so I think that was really the key that made it work for the parents, was the bedtime routine along with the
Along
music.
with the lullabies.
And so we sold about 3.5 million copies and have a lot of testimonies and have a lot of happy parents, you know, because of it.
Great, great. Well, we'd like for you to be included among those happy parents. We'd like to encourage you to go to our website now, Heartbeat Music Lullabies, and there you can download your free lullaby song, and you can try it with your baby now. And in moments, your baby will be calmed, and your baby will also be able to listen to that music over and over again and be comforted and calmed and relaxed and sleep through the night, as Terry was talking about. So go there now, Heartbeat Music Lullabies, and get your free download to try for yourself.